Friends, welcome to the channel. My name is Hako. One of the most frequent questions I get now during my live streams is, Hako, what should I do? A lot of awesome people are coming, like a lot of awesome agents. Who should I save for? Who should I focus on, etc.? Is any of them crap? Is any of them bait? Is any of them a must pull, etc.? So, let's talk about it. So the characters that we know are coming is Evelyn, Anby, and Trigger. Also Pulsar being added as an A rank. Evelyn is a fire attacker. Anby is an electric attacker. And Trigger is an electric stunner. So out of these three agents, which one do I recommend you go for? Now this is on a very account-to-account basis, and a lot of it comes down to how is your current team looking, and kinda what do we know of these characters so far. We know that Evelyn is a really solid unit because we got them to try out a bunch in the event and in the story of the 1.5. So Evelyn is kinda nice because if you're caught up, you'll probably play around a bunch with Evelyn. And my pulling advice is always, go for the characters that you find fun, you find entertaining, and that your heart desires. Now, some positives with Evelyn is, one, she is fire, and if we look at the fire element, it is kind of an unsaturated element. We don't have that many fire characters, and we especially do not have that many fire carry characters. Evelyn is gonna be a fire main carry. And the only other fire attack we have in the game is Soldier 11. Now, some people have a super invested soldier, they've lost a lot of 50-50s, maybe they picked it for the 300, and maybe they're just, super freaking happy with soldier, and they don't feel any need to switch soldier out. Then Evelyn is of course gonna be, lower down on priority for those people. Same if you have Bernice. Now, Bernice is an off-field anomaly character, and she's still the only real off-field anomaly character that we have. And Bernice is super freaking cracked, but she is an off-field agent. Most of her stuff even works better if she's yeeted off-field. So as an on-fielder, what we really have in the carry department is soldier. And Evelyn is first and foremost gonna be a power creep to soldier. And is Evelyn gonna be stronger than soldier? Yes, by quite a bit by the looks of it. And another thing that Evelyn has that not all attackers have is that she's quite fast, she has a bunch of ice frames, and she also has quite a wide area of her attacks. In my opinion, she almost feels more like an anomaly agent than, Jane does, for example. So, I don't think it would have been crazy if, Evelyn was a fire anomaly. That being said, I'm glad we're getting more attackers. And the banner that's probably coming, right after Evelyn's banner is gonna be Anby. So Ambie is making a return as an electric attacker agent. Getting 2 attackers, boom boom. Now, as you can probably see, electric is quite a filled out element. We have Yanagi, who is an event banner character, so she's not available right now, but if you manage to pull her, she is one of the absolute strongest units in the game. The standard banner also comes with 2 S-rank agents, Grace and Rena. Now, Grace hasn't aged super gracefully. Now, Rena, she's one of the still usable ones from the standard cast. We all got the Haramasa for free. We have an electric attacker for the A ranks named Anton, and we do have original Ambie as a stunner. We have Seth, electric defense agent, the only A rank so far that's been added into the game. And of course we have Shingi. And in terms of main carries of electric, we have Yanagi, we have Grace, you could say, Haramasa, and Anton. Now, everybody got the Haramasa for free, and he can be a little tricky boy to master, but once you master him, he's actually quite a competent character. And above all, he's quite fun to play, in my opinion. So in case of Ambie, where she should end up in your priorities, I would kinda, take a look at your account. Do you have Yanagi? Then you have a very, very competent electric carry already. Do you have Haramasa? Then you also have another competent S-rank agent for the same element. Although here, I really want to take a look, do you enjoy playing Haramasa? Because he has a very special playstyle, and I know that some people love playing him, some people don't. He is probably, in my opinion, the hardest character to master in the game currently. Did you start off the Yanagi, but you got the Haramasa, but you don't like using Haramasa, then maybe aim for Ambie. Because one thing that is kind of unique with electric as well is that most stages that requires you to bring an electric agent has these godforsaken freaking robots that refuses to die unless you shock them. They put on a shield, and unless you can, afflict it with an anomaly, that shield just never vanishes. And on my girlfriend's account, for example, she did not manage to pull Yanagi. She tried, I think she lost the 50-50 to Rena. She hasn't really put much effort into Haramasa. She hasn't leveled Anton, so whenever there is an electric stage in the critical Shiyu, it is kind of hell to get through. It is probably the most annoying element to not have a good character in. But it is also the element that, has the most agents in it. And now we're also getting Trigger in the next patch. Like I said, Trigger is an electric stunner, so the most saturated element is getting, 2 new additions. Again, Trigger and Ambie. And there are a million leaks out there that all say different things, so I'm not gonna partake in those because leaks are just that, it's leaks, and they are super prone to change. Historically, the leaks that we end up getting in the start are wildly different from the finished product. So let's talk about what we know. And what I do know about Zenless is that every single character has been better than the predecessor. So for intents and purposes, I'm gonna assume that it's gonna be the case moving forward with these characters as well. Now, stunner agents are in a little bit of a weird state. Apart from defense agents, they're probably like the least hyped kind of character, but because stunner agents kind of, go hand in hand with attackers. Now, the community hasn't been super fast about attackers because the attackers we've gotten is kind of a lot weaker than like the anomaly characters we've gotten. And attackers and anomaly are kind of, the 2 carry specialities. But from my testing, like playing out with Evelyn, I really do feel like they're serious about bringing attackers back to the table. So, obviously, if attackers, rises in tiers, stunner agents are also gonna rise in tiers. So now, regarding Trigger, we've already gotten 1 electric stunner character as an event banner character, which was Xing Yi. Do we think the Trigger is gonna be Xing Yi but better? I don't think so. Do I think Trigger will be better than Xing Yi? In most cases, yes. But I also think that they would work different, and I do think that Xing Yi might still, be the best stunner in some scenarios. And a lot of people are theorizing that Trigger is an off-field stunner, which I'm willing to believe, but we won't know for certain until we've seen official gameplay and info about the characters. And what I will say, if you're kind of new to the game, you're still trying to build out, a few teams that are really strong, then stunners, support, and defense agents, they should always, automatically kind of be second priority. Because first and foremost, we need our carries in place. Because in any team, carry of that team does kind of 90% of all of the lifting. You can pull for a busted support, but if the only thing they have to buff is Anton, for example, you would have been, it would have been wiser to go for SS Anby instead. So what I would advise you do is you take a look at your fire teams, you take a look at your electric teams. Do you want and need Evelyn more, or do you want or need SS Ambie more? Or are you, super good on both fire and electric, and, you can skip them both and be happy and, just go for the cool new stunner that might work in a completely new way? That's also an idea. But just base level, I would assume that SS Ambie is, kind of the stronger attacker compared to Evelyn. Once again, this is just assumption, but she comes out on, 1 patch later, and here's how this kind of works. Every patch gives their characters, a certain amount of stat points to allocate. So when Ellen came out, for example, say that she had, 10 stat points to allocate, and, she could pick this and this. And every subsequent patch after that, characters have had more stat points, I want this cool stuff, I want my ult to do this. And, now we ended up on the stat allocations of Miyabi, and, Miyabi compared to Ellen, she had 40 more stat points to put out. So just for the fact that Ambie is gonna be on the next patch, it's gonna mean that she gets a little bit more stat points to allocate compared to Evelyn. So that being said, I do believe that all 3 of these characters are gonna be excellent additions to the game. They've yet to release 1 single bad character as an event banner character. So whoever you pick, you're not gonna end up, making necessarily a bad choice or bricking your account, etc, etc. But if you find yourself, struggling in the game currently by, clearing deadly assaults, clearing Shiyu, then maybe upping your carries is more important in, just getting a flashy new stunner. And both Ambie and Evelyn already has, decent counterparts already in the game. Yanagi is an anomaly agent, and the disparity currently between anomaly and attackers, it's not even certain that SS Ambie will even be stronger than Yanagi. And Electric has just recently gotten a brand new S-rank attacker agent. Now, I do feel like they tuned him down a little bit simply because he was free, but he's still very competent in any stage where you need an electric attacker. And I do believe that, just from the standpoint of meta, Soldier 11 is more due for an upgrade rather than, what Haramasa is. Or Yanagi if you have her. Me personally, I am going for Evelyn first and foremost. One, I love her design, I love her playstyle. I don't mind using Soldier, but I don't love using Soldier. Like it's not the same feeling as when I use Evelyn or when I use Jane, where, you know, I'm having a blast. Like Soldier is alright, like I'm not having a bad time, I'm just not, you know, having the best time, and Evelyn is a hell of a lot more fun to play. And since Yange is so absurdly strong still, like I don't feel like I really need Ambie, like SS Ambie, but I do feel like I want her because, you know, it's cool, like she's cool, she's the cover girl, and just looking at her design and her weapon, I do believe that, you know, her gameplay might be super freaking fun. And I'm actually really excited about Trigger, especially if Trigger works in like all of these special ways that we think that Trigger might do. I think her design is absolutely cracked, like she looks cool as all hell. I like sniper rifles in general, and if she is an off-field agent, off-fielders have a much longer like runtime, like a much longer lifespan until, you know, they're power crept and obsolete than on-field characters, because we simply get less of them. It's the same reason why, you know, Bernice probably will last longer as like a top tier character than, say, Jane, for example. So yeah, everybody, that is kind of my advice. I recently put out a video like just talking about my specific polling plans that wasn't, you know, necessarily advice to, you know, to you, the viewer. And I also felt that it didn't really answer any of the questions that I, you know, keep getting on live streams. So hopefully I could help some people out making a more informed decision, like what to go for. And remember, Anby and Trigger, they are still very far away, and anything you see of them now is, you know, either leaks or speculation, and everything is super prone to change. So yeah, let me know in the comments, everybody, what are you planning to go for and why? Let's help our fellow community members out, shall we? Alright, peeps, thank you so freaking much for watching. If you want more Zenless Zone Zero content, I put it out every freaking day, so, you know, maybe subscribe to the channel, and if you press the little bell icon, you will get notified whenever I post anything new. But until next time, Hako out.